The rain hammered against the windows of our Chicago apartment, a relentless rhythm that mirrored the turmoil in my heart. My name is Jasper, and until a week ago I considered myself a fortunate man. I had a beautiful wife, Isolde, a comfortable life as a landscape architect, and a future that seemed as bright as a summer sunrise. Now all I felt was the cold, gnawing emptiness of betrayal. Isolde and I had been together for 7 years, married for 5. We met at an art gallery opening. I was captivated by her vibrant energy and infectious laugh. She was a marketing executive, sharp, ambitious, and always impeccably dressed. We were different, but our differences seemed to complement each other, creating a whole that was stronger than its parts. Or so I thought. The first sign that something was amiss was subtle. Isolde started working late more frequently, claiming demanding projects and urgent deadlines. I didn't think much of it at first. I knew her job could be stressful. But then came the unexplained absences, the vague excuses, and the growing distance between us. Our conversations became superficial, our intimacy non-existent. I tried to talk to her about it, but she brushed it off, saying I was imagining things, that she was just tired. One evening, I decided to surprise her at her office. I brought her favorite coffee and a small bouquet of flowers, hoping to rekindle some of the spark that had faded. But when I arrived, her office was dark, the building mostly empty. I called her cell phone, but it went straight to voicemail. A wave of unease washed over me. I decided to wait. After an hour, I saw her car pull into the parking garage. I watched as she got out, but she wasn't alone. A man emerged from the driver's seat, and as they walked towards the building entrance, he put his arm around her. I couldn't see his face clearly in the dim light, but I recognized the expensive suit and the confident swagger. My heart pounded in my chest, a drumbeat of dread. I stepped out of the shadows and called her name. Isolde. She froze, her eyes widening in shock. The man turned around, his face now illuminated by the parking garage lights. It was Quentin, her boss, a man I had met several times at company events. He always seemed a little too friendly, a little too attentive towards Isolde, but I had dismissed it as professional courtesy. Now I knew better. Jasper, Isolde stammered, her face pale. What are you doing here? I came to surprise you, I said, my voice trembling with anger and hurt. But I guess the surprise is on me. Quentin stepped forward, his expression one of arrogant defiance. Jasper, this isn't what it looks like. Oh, really? I retorted, my voice rising. Because it looks like my wife is having an affair with her boss, and I'd say that's exactly what it looks like. Isolde started to cry, her carefully constructed facade crumbling. Jasper, please, let me explain. Explain what? I demanded. Explain how you could betray me like this. Explain how you could lie to my face for weeks. Explain how you could throw away everything we built together for him. I gestured towards Quentin, disgust etched on my face. It just happened, Isolde sobbed. We didn't mean for it to go this far, it just happened, I repeated, incredulous. An affair doesn't just happen, Isolde, it's a choice. A deliberate, conscious choice to hurt the person who loves you the most. I turned and walked away, the rain washing over me, unable to cleanse the bitter taste of betrayal in my mouth. I drove home in a daze, my mind reeling, my heart shattered into a million pieces. The next few days were a blur of anger, grief, and disbelief. Isolde moved out, taking only her clothes and a few personal belongings. We barely spoke, the few words we exchanged laced with bitterness and resentment. I couldn't bring myself to look at her, to touch her, to even be in the same room with her. The woman I loved, the woman I thought I knew, was gone. Replaced by a stranger, a liar, a cheat. I confided in my best friend, Thuron, a graphic designer who had always been my rock. He listened patiently as I poured out my heart, offering words of comfort and support. He was furious on my behalf, urging me to confront Isolde and Quentin, to demand answers and retribution. But I wasn't interested in revenge. I just wanted to understand. I wanted to know why. What had I done wrong? What had I failed to provide? What had driven her into the arms of another man? I decided to hire a private investigator. I needed to know the truth, the whole truth, no matter how painful it might be. I contacted a local agency and spoke with a seasoned investigator named Griffin. He was professional, discreet, and empathetic. He assured me that he would uncover everything, leaving no stone unturned. Griffin started by digging into Isolde and Quentin's backgrounds. He discovered that their affair had been going on for months, perhaps even longer than I suspected. They had been meeting in secret, traveling together on business trips, exchanging intimate messages and emails. The evidence was overwhelming, irrefutable. But Griffin also uncovered something else, something that shocked me to my core. Quentin was not just having an affair with Isolde. He was a serial cheater, a predator who preyed on vulnerable women in the workplace. He had a history of affairs, harassment allegations, and shady business dealings. He was a toxic, manipulative individual who used his power and influence to exploit others. I was horrified. Not only had Isolde betrayed me, but she had done so with a man who was clearly a sociopath. I couldn't believe she had been so blind, so naive, so willing to risk everything for someone like him. I confronted Isolde with Griffin's findings. She initially denied it, claiming that Quentin was just a friend, a mentor, a supportive colleague. But when I showed her the evidence, the emails, the photos, the witness statements, she broke down. She admitted everything, sobbing uncontrollably. She claimed that Quentin had manipulated her, that he had showered her with attention and praise, that he had made her feel special and valued. She said she had been flattered by his advances, seduced by his charm, and blinded by his promises. She insisted that she had never intended to hurt me, that she still loved me, that she wanted to make things right. But it was too late. The trust was broken, the damage irreparable. I couldn't forgive her, not after everything she had done. I told her that I wanted a divorce, that I never wanted to see her again. I decided to take action against Quentin. I contacted the authorities and provided them with the evidence Griffin had uncovered. They launched an investigation into his business practices and his alleged harassment of female employees. Within weeks, he was fired from his job and facing multiple lawsuits. I felt a sense of satisfaction, knowing that Quentin was finally being held accountable for his actions. But it didn't bring me any joy. It didn't erase the pain, the anger, the sense of loss. It didn't bring Isolde back. I threw myself into my work, designing gardens and landscapes, finding solace in the beauty of nature. I spent time with Thuron, who helped me to rebuild my life, to rediscover my passions, to move forward. I started seeing a therapist who helped me to process my emotions, to understand my vulnerabilities, to heal from the trauma of betrayal. It took time, but eventually I started to feel like myself again. I realized that Isolde's affair was not a reflection of my worth, but of her own insecurities and flaws. I learned to forgive myself for not seeing the signs, for trusting the wrong person, for believing in a love that wasn't real. One day, I received a call from Griffin. He had more information about Isolde. Apparently, after Quentin was fired and his reputation ruined, he had turned on her. He blamed her for his downfall, accusing her of being a liability, a distraction, a mistake. He had cut her off, leaving her alone and humiliated. Isolde had lost her job, her reputation, her friends, and her lover. She was facing financial difficulties and emotional distress. She had reached out to Griffin, begging him to help her, to convince me to take her back. Griffin asked me if I wanted to speak with her. I hesitated, unsure of what to say, what to feel. But curiosity got the better of me. I agreed. Isolde's voice was weak and trembling when she came on the phone. She apologized profusely, begging for my forgiveness. She admitted that she had made a terrible mistake, that she had been foolish and selfish, that she had destroyed the best thing in her life. She said that she understood if I couldn't forgive her, that she deserved to be punished for what she had done. But she pleaded with me to at least consider giving her another chance, to believe that she could change, that she could be the woman I deserved. I listened in silence, my heart aching with a mixture of pity and resentment. I wanted to believe her, to forgive her, to give her another chance. But I knew that I couldn't. The trust was gone, the love was dead. We could never go back to what we had before. I told her that I forgave her, not for her sake, but for my own. I told her that I wished her well, that I hoped she could find happiness and healing. But I also told her that I couldn't be a part of her life anymore, that we needed to move on, to let go. She understood. She thanked me for my kindness and hung up. I never saw or spoke to Isolde again. I heard through mutual friends that she eventually moved to another city, found a new job, and started a new life. I hope she found the peace and happiness she was searching for. As for me, I continued to heal, to grow, to learn from my mistakes. I opened my own landscaping business, creating beautiful gardens and outdoor spaces for others to enjoy. I found joy in my work, in my friendships, in my own company. I eventually met someone new, a kind and compassionate woman named Linnea. We shared a love of nature, art, and adventure. We built a relationship based on trust, honesty, and mutual respect. I learned to love again, to trust again, to believe in the possibility of a happy ending. The betrayal of Isolde was a painful chapter in my life, but it was also a valuable lesson. It taught me the importance of self-worth, the power of forgiveness, and the resilience of the human spirit. It taught me that even in the darkest of times, there is always hope for a brighter future. This is my story, a journey through heartbreak, betrayal, and ultimately, healing. It's a reminder that even when life throws its worst at us, we have the strength to overcome, to rebuild, and to find love again. Thank you for listening.